Hi everyone, this is Big Benedict. Welcome back to my Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2 video guide and walkthrough for elevated risk difficulty. We're on our own here, and you notice all the technical equipment that we have on our HUD. It's all going crazy and wonky. It's because we just crashed and everything, and it needs to get stabilized again. So it's going to be like that for the remainder of this chapter, which is in this desert area here. So we had a couple of enemies stationary before this Jeep pulled up. So what you want to do is get up to this piece of cover, take out anybody before the Jeep arrives, and then when the Jeep arrives, or the Humvee, whatever it really is, I don't know. It's a Jeep, I guess. It's a truck, I should say. But that's not really relevant. There's Passos right there. It's going to unload a bunch of enemies. So if you could get on, if you get your sights over that area, you're good to go, and you'll be able to take out a bunch of foes. But whenever this thing, see how it's on fire right there? Whenever that blows up, you're good to go. So I was a little close to it right there. And there's no checkpoint for a long time. I think there's only 2 checkpoints in this entire chapter, but it's only like 15 minutes of actual gameplay. I mean, it'll vary up to you. And some of these fights, they really tested my mettle because, you know, we can't get healed here. Passos won't be able to heal us. I'm just going to be calling that dude that because, I don't know, Passos, Max Payne 3, it's a cool name. But anyway, you get his marginal assistance. It's not very good. And if you're wondering why the yellow square is going wonky too, it's because everything's going crazy here. This isn't too hard. Passos is up here on the porch, and the biggest problem I have is just finding the enemies here and very, very carefully moving from place to place. But it doesn't really communicate with you too well, as far as, you know, because Passos, he'll say, I see some rebels, or I don't see some rebels, and he keeps saying it off and on different times, and I just don't trust it. It's because I know it's the computer, and I know it screwed me over before. So we also have a 2 chopper sequence at the end of this video, where you have to take down 2 choppers with the Zeus rocket launcher, and that part took me a few tries to figure out. But you're going to have the mule pretty soon. Ooh, took a bad shot right there. And then for the remainder of this fight, all of this, I was fighting with bated breath here because one hit and I'm dead. But pretty much that's my main issue with this game, and it's not really this game, it's just all games where I can't see where the enemy is. And I have really good vision, and I sit pretty close to it because I don't play on a television screen. I invested $1,000 in a computer monitor several years back. It's a nice 30-inch monitor, and the games that I output on it for my PS3 look much better than our larger one that we have in the living room. And I just don't even play games. I don't think the bigger is not necessarily the better. In this case, it was the more expensive one was the better one for me. Anyway. So we're looking to get to that rally point pretty soon and get the mule, get our checkpoint. But you got to do your job here and fight. And the guy just walks too slow. That's his problem. It's just. But you notice he doesn't have his helmet now. We can see some of his face. He's pretty nice, cool looking character. So there's the enemy up there. I think one of these guys killed me when I was doing this on one of my later attempts. But also, you should pick up a weapon, because you're only going to start with one weapon. You'll have your grenades, but you will want to grab another weapon so you'll have 2. You could probably get, yeah, you don't even need to, but if you want to, you know, you should. Well, I was going to say, if you want to scoped weapon, but the weapon you have originally has a scope on it, and the one you can pick up is no better. So it's just extra ammunition if you want to. And I just don't like that circular gun sights. I don't like it. That's not circular. It's just the main shooting like that. I just don't like that circular reticle. What I also don't like on Max Payne 3 was the dot reticule, so I changed it to for weapon-specific reticules. And I don't know. It just depends. You know, you like some. It's just an aesthetic choice that you like or you don't like. But what I do know is that I don't like that circle. Because it just seems like really old school, like really early shooters, first-person shooters, that kind of thing. This reminds me of that. Even though I don't have any experience with that, but I used to see those games. Okay, so we have two guys to the left that are killed. And when I first ran up to this way, yeah, you know what? There's a lot of ways you can go here, so it's just going to depend which way you're most comfortable with. What always happens for me anyway is I go on my first run and I pretty much mimic what I do every time in subsequent runs, unless something's just drastically not working correctly, so I find a different route. But I'm laying in the dirt down here, so I'm going to have to move around, find somebody to, you know, shoot. But I just don't know if there's anybody left to shoot. But it was a matter of getting over to this area, which is like kind of like a township area. So there's one guy. I was able to take him out with no problem. But there was sparse cover over here, to be sure. And I believe there's some more enemies down there. Or was this the point when Pastos told me that it was okay that there were no more rebels? That was probably the point when he said that. It's just kind of misleading, I guess would be the right word, because there's a lot of open space and areas for enemies to hide, but they don't overpopulate the game with enemies the way other games do. So anyway, so this is your checkpoint area. It'll be no, excuse me. You get one more checkpoint after this. But you'll see. I don't know if I include. No, I don't think I included it. But when you fill up your ammo right there, did I edit that out? Yep, good old Big Benedict edited it out so you guys can't see. But the Zeus rocket launcher's on there. But what I chose to do, since I'm going to use that thing once I get the sniper rifle, I'm going to use the Scar H's grenade launcher. And my mistake actually was not moving the mule in tandem with where I was going, but I left it behind so that in the next checkpoint area where you're required to kill the helicopters, or can't kill them but just destroy them. Yeah, and this was pretty risky here. What I had to do fighting those helicopters was to get under. You're going to have to get a roof over your head first, and then have the mule come back to you. And you'll actually have to drive it to yourself. And it was just one of those things where it was kind of my fault, but I didn't know what was coming up. You know, you're in the heat of battle. What I should have done if I do ever... Well, I'll never replay this stage. One time through a game's enough for me on the hardest difficulty. What I should have done was just have the mule follow us up to this point and then drop it off in this shed up here. So that's what you should do, actually, because you'll get a checkpoint pretty soon. And hopefully you're not in the red like I am, because like I mentioned, Pastos can't heal people. So what's up ahead is actually 4 enemies who are fixed enemies, meaning they don't move. They're entrenched up there. And they lie right before the checkpoint area, so even if they kill you, you'll get your checkpoint, which is actually what happened to me. Okay, so we had a guy hiding behind that thing up there. That's what was causing the holdup to get to this next area here. And as far as tips about the choppers, you really need to shoot when they stop moving for a second. But they drive down such a heavy spray of fire that it's hard to take a shot, and it's tempting to make sure your shot connects, but don't wait for it to connect, because what'll end up happening is that the chopper's just going to shoot you down with all the bullets that it sprays out while you're trying to watch and see if your shot's getting verified as a hit. But it's either going to hit or miss, so don't worry about it. Just go back under the cover really quickly. Oh, those are the assholes with the mortars. Oh, okay, those are the mortar guys. I was so intent on shooting them I didn't even see the mortars position between them. But yeah, those are the assholes who are shooting the mortars. So you should take care of those guys and just clean them up. But that's your last checkpoint. So what I had to do now every single time was bring the mule from where it was originally situated back up to me. So you hold down the R2 button, and then you just move the left analog stick. And I'm going to dock it into this area and then grab the Zeus. And you don't have to do this if you get the Zeus to begin with, but you'll have to find another weapon that you want that'll be suitable, but something besides the Zeus, like the Scar. Okay, so it takes 2 shots to take down the choppers. There's going to be 2 of them. And you can't really camp out under here because he'll never move. Like, you'll go out of cover over here, and he'll just be too close to you. See, you can't get a shot off. Well, I think I might have hit him that time. But what you probably want to do is just move from one side of the shed to the other. And you'll have a better chance, because then he'll have to fly over to you for a moment, and then he'll stop. Then you shoot. Then you run down. It doesn't matter if you hit or miss. But make sure you line up your shot properly, and try not to waste all the rockets like I had to do, because I kept missing shots. But you have as many tries as you want until you die, because the mule will just give you more rockets out of there, so you have infinite ammo. But just don't take for granted how deadly the bullets are from that chopper. Now, what's happening here is the first time I did this, it crashed into the main area, but now it's just going to go off to the desert over there and crash land. And while I was watching that thing, the second chopper arrived, of course. But you could, not to sound like a worn-out record, but like, even if you're in the green health, you could be dead from all the bullets. It's crazy. I mean, a lot of times in this game they'll hit you enough so you're in the red, and then you can get back. But sometimes you just don't have enough time to react. So I'm down to 2 rockets up here. I'm just going back and forth trying to take this thing out. There it is. So I had 1 rocket left, and I didn't trust myself enough to shoot it all. So I restocked on the rockets in the mule, like you can do right here. But this isn't really hard. It's just a little frustrating when you've got to, in my case, you've got to move the mule every time to you and kill those 4 targets every time. So I just didn't want to die. I wanted to get the job finished, and we did. So I don't believe there's any more enemies either. And also, you don't worry about doing this, what I'm doing right here, because I had no idea that the level was over, which it is. And then the next chapter will be similar to Mission 3, I believe, when we're in a chopper and shooting down at enemies. So that's it. I'm going to take off, and I'll see you over there. It'll be mission number 8. So right now, all you need to do is just go to the wavering yellow square and get into the chopper. Get in on the turret side, though. Otherwise, it won't register. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next mission. Thanks.